Hey guys, welcome back to another Senior Reviews. And today we have Secret World Legends. And let's go just start by addressing the dropping of the Secret World as it was known before, and now it's just called Secret World Legends, which is just another in a long series of heroes, champions, legends type naming convention, which is really not doing it for me. So right from the beginning, it makes the game look dumbed down, and that's just my opinion, of course. But anyway, so right away, before I go into the changes of the game, let's start by stuff that hasn't changed. And the first thing that would jump right into your mind, into your eye, into your in the appearance of the game is the DXL11 performance, which is still subpar and really a weird thing to say the best, to say the least. The game has been released now for a couple years, and still the performance is still the same. We have better graphic cards now, so it runs at higher FPS, but it still feels like it feels sluggish and cut down and weird. It's really a shame, to be honest. But still, on DX9 the game runs good enough, but why have DX11 if it doesn't run good? I guess it's a problem with the engine itself, and I doubt it will ever be fixed, so otherwise they would have fixed it already, I guess. Anyway, for the graphics in general, or two, it doesn't matter really. The graphics still hold up good enough. They are nothing compared to today's games, of course, but as an MMO or now a shared world experience action RPG as they call it, it does its job good enough. It's certainly not ugly, so it it fits the game, so that's all right. And let's see my current other point. So now let's go to the changes. So the biggest change that was made was to the combat mechanics. They switched from a more standard MMO type of combat, meaning to you have to select an enemy and then you have to select skills. Basically, the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smashing. 7 in this case because it had 7 skills for usable skills, active skills. Now it changes to a more hack and slash action RPG style control scheme, like in Diablo 3 or in what was it called again? Grim Dawn, Titan Quest, P of E, or whatever it was called. I forget the name. Anyway, now you have 6 active skills, unless there is a 7th ultimate skill that I haven't seen that you have a button for. I haven't played that much yet, so I don't know. But normally you have 6 skills, which are by default assigned to left and right mouse button, then the Q and E key, and 1 and 2. So the mouse buttons is the skills you use most actively, I guess, while the other skills I like. It's very much like Diablo or like um, what was it again? Ah, I forgot the other MMO that was released some couple years ago. Uh, Guild Wars 2, yes, exactly. I think it's like this as well. So anyway, it's fun, but yeah, in the beginning, it's like any action RPG that is actually there is. You start basically by smashing one button over and over, and then slowly but steadily you add other buttons to your attack chains because enemies become more resistant and sturdier. So it takes longer to take them down. But still, you start out very basic by basically spamming one skill, mainly one skill, maybe two sometimes. But yes. So anyway, all in all, the combat is fine. I think it's really action RPG-ish now. It certainly is a change from the whole tapping through the enemies and then chaining up skills, which is quite boring, like World of Warcraft, EverQuest, whatever, all these old school MMOs. which is not very fun. On the other hand, you have a dodge mechanic that is, I think it's a bit redundant because the dodge has a internal countdown as much as it, so you can only dodge every couple seconds, and yeah, it's not very useful. I mean, you can dodge every now and then, of course, but you just as well can just jump out of the way without dodging. So it's like really, it's not something you have to use all the time. It's more like an emergency, out of the way skill. And so anyway, now next thing we go to the skill wheel removal. So they removed the skill wheel. I don't know if you haven't played the game before. They imagine that all your skills are in a wheel going outwards. That means you have to spend points in the inner part of the wheel, and then wherever you have to go, you have to spend points to get there. So you have to focus on one line to get to the ultimate on the end of the skill. Now, I don't know why people say they removed it. They removed, or why they removed it, I don't know. It's purely visual that they removed it, in my opinion. Because now their line is skill. Still, at the same time, you have a couple of ranges of skills, which are one after another. To have unlock one skill to get another, to another, to another, and it's basically the same thing. So to get to the end of a skill line, you have to unlock the skills that goes before. You have several of these, so it's really like the wheel, but just in a more straight manner, I guess. It's just for the looks, I guess, nothing else. And so yeah, the new skill progression is basically the same as the old. You can pick and choose which passive and active skills you want to mix together, and depending where this skill is in your skill window, you have to spend more or less points to get to each skill, and then you can freely select, mix and match whatever skill you want. However, you are still bound by the fact that you can equip 2 weapons, and every skill in general, requires a specific weapon to be used. So you are still limited to 2 different types of skills in terms of, for example, chaos magic or blood magic or elementary magic or hammer or blades or machine guns or shotguns or pistols, fist weapons, exactly. So each of those has skills that requires to wear that said weapon. But it's pretty straightforward, and yeah, it's easy enough to understand, and also you can eventually, that's depending if you own the game already, if you have bought Secret World before, then you have every skill tree unlocked already. Unlocked meaning you can spend skill points in them without restriction. If you are new to the game, means you have never paid for the game, then you will have to use currency that you can win inside the game, to unlock each of those trees, or whatever you want to call it. It's what I've heard. It's not very expensive, and Funcom clearly said that everything that is in the game can be accessed and get acquired for free. So that should not be a problem. I think it starts at like 400 Arnum or whatever the currency is called, but it's quite accessible. So anyway, my point was that in the end, every character can have all the skills unlocked. There is no limit in how many skills you can unlock. As far as I remember, you can in the Secret World, you could unlock the entire wheel, every weapon, every skill. All you had to do was to play, and you don't get a diminished skill return in terms of, for example, a mission that gives you 1 skill point will always give you 1 skill point, no matter how many times you played or what level you are. If later on a mission gives you 20 skill points, and is a mission that you can repeat, of course, you will get these 20 points every time you do the mission. Most missions, or a lot of the missions, are repeatable, means that you can play them over and over again, every 24 hours, I think, or something like that. And you have a lot of stuff to do, so you can always get skill points, and skill points and action points, I think there are. For the active skills and passive skills, you have two kinds of skill points. Anyway, so every character can eventually unlock every skill, so you cannot get, I say, a bad character. Eventually, your character can have any skill, and you can change them on the fly. So that should never be an issue. You can, of course, start with a weak character and make a weak character from the start, but all that means is you have to play through the easier play fields and accumulate enough skill points to eventually get strong enough to get to the next point. So now we come to the weakest part of the game. In my opinion, that's the items and the loot, which is a bit together. Before, the items were already very minimalistic, meaning, first of all, they have a very minimalistic type of the icon. You have no visuals. You don't have an item you can watch or anything. You just have a kind of a sign, like a blade, a white blade that has no 3 dimensions or anything, and it's just called blade. So you have a blade, a machine gun, and a hammer, and a shotgun of whatever rune or whatever you attach to the weapon. And that's really something that it works. It worked okay, I guess, in the earlier version of the Secret World. But now, as an action RPG, you really expect there to be loot that is distinguishable. I want to find a holy shotgun of misery, or a cursed blade of fraternity. I don't know, something like this, which has specific visuals which look nice. I don't want my white shotgun to look the same as my blue shotgun, and the only difference there is between the white shotgun, the look of the white shotgun, and the blue shotgun, or the purple or whatever shotgun, whatever's high up there, is the level of the item, meaning the level required to wear the item. If let's say with this, if you start the game, you have a level 1 item, and then you level it up. Now with the new system, you can level up your items with upgrading using the same type of item that you not use. You mix them all together, and it upgrades an item of your choice. So you have a level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, whatever. And it doesn't change anything, just the number changes. The numbers changed, but everything else does not change. So I think that's a bit sad, because it's an action RPG, and an action RPG really lives and thrives on the loot. Especially a game that is very PvE. This is not a PvP game. You should not play this if it's for PvP. This is very PvE, and for PvE you really want to have a reward, and the reward should be items. Items are the only thing in this type of game that makes player want to stay and repeat the game, the playfields and the stories, whatever. You don't want to repeat the same thing over and over just to get another +1, +2, +3. You want loot. You want to have something to represent what you have gone through. Now, anyway, just to make a consensus here. So, if you haven't played the game, then I guess it's free, absolutely free. Everything you can do in the game is free. So I think you should try it. If you're into action RPGs, don't play it because it's an MMO, because it's not. It's really an action RPG. It's more like Guild Wars 1 than Guild Wars 2. And there's no paywall as far as I can see. You can do anything. There's no limitations on whatever. You have, if you have played the game, then just keep in mind that you have to start from scratch. You cannot export your old characters. So that's done. So you have to restart everything. So if you can go through this, then you should be fine. I think, all in all things considered, it's a fun game. It's seriously, it has the greatest story and quests ever in a game of this kind. So I think it's worth it just for that. It's free. Give it a try. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you next time. And yeah, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.